But there's a bush burning. That's normal. But the peculiar thing, the crazy thing is, it's not burning up. There's no black char. Nothing's falling apart. And this is what grabs Moses' attention. God did something different in the midst of the usual. He's used to seeing things on fire in the desert. But Moses noticed and took advantage of it. See, I can notice God in the peculiar things of my life. In the constant buzz of everyday living, the mumbo jumbo that runs through my head, I can still encounter God. There are very peculiar things that happen all the time. A friend calls you and says, I have some bad news. I've got a disease. A coworker calls you and says, my life is falling apart. My marriage is falling apart. You hear a conversation in the grocery store of a mom telling a child, well, I'm sorry, honey, we don't have enough money to buy all these groceries. I know you need them, but we can only buy this and this because we still have enough money. Acquaintance tells you that they're ready to end everything. These are peculiar circumstances in your life. You don't run across them every day. There are things that happen, but they don't happen every day. They're bushes that are on fire, but they're not burning up. They're eye-catching. You should be listening to these things. They're strange. They're out of the ordinary. You want a secret? Many times God uses these things, these burning bushes, to draw us close to Him. To get our attention. To see how we're going to react. Are we going to jump in? Or are we just going to be the bystander? He uses these things to draw us closer to Him. John 6:44. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws them, and I will raise them up at the last day. No one can draw close to me unless I draw them close to you. God is the one who always initiates the experience. The phrase moth drawn to the flame. When you have that light outside your door, you leave it on, and all the bugs and stuff like that, they're drawn to the light. God sets up the environment for the situation in our lives. He's looking for us to move forward toward the situation. We can take notice of the peculiar things, or we can simply ignore them. And how I respond can change my life, and it changes others' lives. You see, I can step out of the ordinary life. Again, we're back in Exodus. There's an angel of the Lord appeared to him from a burning bush. Moses saw the bush was on fire, but it was not burning up. This is strange, he said to himself. I'll go over and see why the bush isn't burning up. So Moses makes a conscious effort. Something strange here. Let me go back and take care of the sheep. No. Something strange here. Let me go check it out. This is really weird. Why isn't this thing burning up? Let me go check it out. So he makes a move towards the bush. He had every reason to stay with the sheep. That was his job. They could have run off. But he was on a schedule. And he didn't keep it. He could have got home after dark. What if he got caught on fire from the bush? Something could happen to the sheep. Sometimes it's more of a hassle to get in someone else's business rather than just stay out. Moses could have easily walked away, but he didn't. He broke his schedule, broke his plan, and decided to check something out that wasn't ordinary. See, I can step out of the ordinary. When I notice peculiar things happen around me, things that don't happen every day, I can actually see what God wants me to do. When I see my friend hurting, ask God, what do you want me to do in this situation? How do you want me to help? I can step out of the ordinary. It's not until we step out of the ordinary that the extraordinary begins. It's not until we step out of the ordinary that the extraordinary begin. It's not until we find out that we're without a bottom, we're without a top, we're just spinning in the ocean. That's when God saves us. Remember? When I was spinning in there with no sand above on my feet and no air above my head, that's when God takes over. When you can't do anything. See, I can believe that God works in an unusual way, and I can know it's peculiar, but until I step out of the ordinary, until I make my first move, I'm just an observer. I'm just watching someone else who needs help and letting them sing when I can do something about it. The moment I take a step closer to God, the greatest experience in my life can happen. It starts to set in motion. When Moses stepped over to see the burning bush, he had no idea of what God was going to ask him to do. He had no idea that he was going to lead the Israelites out of Egypt. He had no plans for that whatsoever. But you know, God did it. But what it took was Moses to be obedient. And go look at the peculiar thing. Why wasn't that bush like that? That one move changed everything. One simple move in your life can change your whole entire life. Do you realize that? One simple move. Some of you may know this story. I grew up on Chestnut Ridge. Right across the street from me was a young man. His name was Jay. His name is Jay Young. I've tried to find him and I can't find him. They came to this church where it was in a barn in the parking lot. About 10 years before that happened, my parents were looking at moving to where Baldwin's funeral home is right now. They were looking at buying a piece of property. On that piece of property was a basement and a barn. That was it. There was about 20 acres on there, I believe, is what the property size is. My dad knew Harold Wagner from, he used to own the funeral home that was up the street. And they were friends. And Harold Wagner told him, don't buy that piece of property. It's horrible. It's a bad piece of property. My dad was a farmer, grew up on a farm, wanted a farm in the city. Harold told him, that's a horrible piece of property, don't buy it, don't buy it. Well, what happened later? Harold bought it and turned it into his own funeral home. But anyway, that decision of not making that move changed our whole entire future for our family. Changed it completely. Because about 10 years later, I got to know Jay, and Jay invited me to church. Me and my sister. In the barn, in the parking lot. We had church before this building was CP. If we would have moved to Center Ridge Road, I would never have known Jay. I would never have been invited to Calvary. I would never be probably standing right here in front of you today. One simple decision. My whole family came here. My whole family became Christian. Our whole family has changed because of one simple decision. So if you look for the peculiar things in life and you decide to join in on them, it can change the rest of your life. Just like that. It may be something big. It may be a bunch of small stuff, but you never know what will happen. I guarantee, though, that one thing is when you make it to heaven, God's going to say, really cool. You've seen that peculiar thing I threw at you. And you acted on it. And look what happened from that peculiar decision. You changed someone else's life. You changed someone else's life. You changed someone else's life. That's what our rewards are based on. What did you do for the kingdom? What did you do for the kingdom? When you get up there and God shows you all that stuff, and you're going, wow, I didn't know that happened. No, you weren't there. You just caused this effect to happen here, which caused this one, which caused this one, which caused this one, which caused this one. Every decision you make has an outcome. decision to check out the peculiar bush changed his life. It draws us closer to God. And James 4:8 says this, draw near to God and He will draw near to you. One step forward, He'll come back. When we draw closer to God, God draws closer to us. As I take up leap of faith, God begins to reveal Himself to us. So what does out of the ordinary look like? I don't know. I don't know what your out of the ordinary looks like. It may be stepping out to interact with someone when you don't like to interact with people. Lots of people don't like crowds. Lots of people don't like to see new people. They have things inside of them that they feel insecure about. When it might be stepping out of that box. Or some it might be changing your schedule to help a friend out who's in need. Some of you might be helping the person who lives next to you. When you've got some free time cutting the grass or whatever it is. But those are peculiar times that you can just jump into. Those are things that are out of your ordinary schedule. But you see God working, and God's asking you to do something. See, there's a difference between experiencing God one moment and living a life experiencing God. An experience is just a few moments, where experiencing God truly should last a lifetime. And if you want to begin experiencing God, you need to come to the place where you're noticing where He's working every day. Recognize Him in the normal, everyday, mundane events that happen in your life, but also take advantage of the peculiar things that happen in your life. But it all begins by noticing God. See, God is so big, God is so massive, that you can learn something new about Him every single day for the rest of your life. And you know what? You will still only know about that much. That much. He is so big. But see, He comes in the quiet. He comes in the deep. He comes in even in small events in our lives. Great things can happen when we listen to God and when we act on what He has to do. Your co-workers' lives can be changed. Your family can be changed. Your neighbors can be changed. You just don't know how it affects. I can't even find Jay on Facebook or anything. Because I would like to tell him how one little simple invite changed my whole family and changed my whole entire life. I can't find him. I would like him to realize that before he gets to heaven, hopefully, that he will see it. Or maybe not. Maybe, if he's not living that life, maybe he will see what he did. And maybe it will change his life. I just don't know. I keep searching for him all the time. But for the next 4 weeks, this is what we're going to be talking about. Opportunity for us to make decisions with God, to draw closer to Him, to hear His voice when we're out of control.